Hello vinyl community, this is Randy back today with another video. Picked up some records in the last part of March 2022, so I'm going to show those to you today. Today's the 29th of March, but I don't expect to be getting any more records before the end of the month. So before I start with the new records, I wanted to show you this New York Dolls record. There's been a thread going around the vinyl community lately of twofer albums that were originally released as single albums, and then later the record companies combined them into two record sets. So several people did that thread. I'm not sure who started that. I think it might have been James Griffiths maybe, or but I saw Chris Kibler's response to that thread, and he showed some good records. I didn't really have any two-for-ones that hadn't already been shown, I think, by other people, except for this New York Dolls one, which someone may have showed this with and I didn't see the video. But this is a two-record set that I got back, well, I got it when it came out, which I think was around 1980 or so, something like that. And this record includes both of their albums in their entirety, just like the regular albums, except they're combined into this two-record set. So you don't get the great artwork that is on those two records, but you do get basically the history of the New York Dolls and some cool pictures of the band. So that's my twofer record there. New records that I've gotten, the coolest one I've gotten, the one I really like a lot, one I've been listening to just every day, is Ross Perkins. Excuse me, Ross Perkins. I think the name of the album is E Pluribus Ross. It says here, Dayton, Ohio, United States of America. So Ross Perkins is the only person who performs on this album. He did all the music and all of the vocals. I would describe this as pop music. It's just very pleasant sounding pop music. It's a little bit psychedelic sounding and kind of reminds me of the Beatles. Actually, it reminds me of maybe like the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's album. There's lots of different sounds, and it's all very well produced, and it's very upbeat sounding. Some of the words maybe are not as quite as upbeat as the music sounds, but it's really cool. The first side is really catchy. It starts out with Industrial Good Day Mantra. The very last song on side one, It's Your Boy, I tell you, is a real earworm, and boy, I would highly recommend it to you if you want to listen to it, but be prepared to have it running through your head for days afterwards, because it's very catchy. So side two of the album gets to be a little bit more on the psychedelic side. I mean, there's definitely a difference between side one and side two. Side one more poppy, side two a little bit more psychedelic sounding. It's all great though. I really like this one a lot. This one just came out a week or so ago. It looks like it was recorded in May and June of 2020. I guess that's how long it takes for a record to get out now. It just came out, I think, a couple weeks ago. So, and this one is on this very cool clear vinyl. That's Karma Chief. Karma Chief is the label. So, yeah, Ross Perkins. Really enjoying that one. I ordered that one from Plaid Room Records, and while I was ordering from them, I got this record that came out last year, Darren Jones and the Indications. So Darren Jones has become a very well-known band here in the past two or three years, I think. I think a rhythm and blues band that are on the Plaid Room Records label, I think, Coal Mine Records. Yeah, I think what I got was a newer, I think this one's just been recently printed. I was reading in Discogs about it online, and it seemed like a lot of people in Discogs had complaints about the way the pressings sounded. Some of them were all colored vinyl, but I think this was new. Mine sounds fine, so I'm very happy about that. And it's on this purple vinyl. Very cool. So Darren Jones, like I say, rhythm and blues, very, very modern sounding, but traditional sounding at the same time. And interesting thing about this album, to me it was interesting. Well, let me just show you the inner sleeve a little bit more. It's got some cool pictures of the band on it. And interesting thing to me about this record is that Darren Jones is the singer for the band. That's all he does is sing, but there's 2 or 3 songs on here that he doesn't actually sing on. The drummer, Aaron Fraser, is sort of like the co-lead vocalist. I know last year Aaron Fraser put out a single album of his own. I got a 7-inch single by Aaron. So he sings in his very high falsetto voice. You can definitely tell the difference between the two. This is a fantastic album, though. I think probably a lot of people have shown this in the vinyl community since it came out. I think in the middle of last year. So, also from Plaid Room Records, I got this newer album from the Delvon Lamar Organ Trio. I've heard it pronounced Delvin or Delvon. I haven't heard Delvin himself actually pronounce it. I've usually said Delvon, but Delvin or Delvon Lamar Organ Trio. Cold as Weiss. Cold as Weiss. Daniel Weiss is the drummer for this band. This is a different drummer than they had. I showed a different Delvon Lamar Organ Trio record just a couple of videos ago. One that came out in a live album recorded at KEXP. That one had a different drummer on it, but the same guitar player, Jimmy James. Guitar player is fantastic. Fantastic record. Instrumental. No singing on this one. Very good. Delvon Lamar Organ Trio. Cold as Ice. Weiss. Yeah. Or Weiss. And this one, also on colored vinyl. This one, it had a name. It was like Ice Blue or something like that. It's basically blue, basically clear with some blue, blue in it too. So, yep, really excellent. So that was an organ trio, the Delvon Lamar Organ Trio. I went to Phonolux over the weekend and picked up this Shirley Scott record. This is an organ trio also. Drag 'Em Out. Fantastic cover on that one. The two dragsters there going down the track. This is Shirley playing organ with a drummer and a bass player. So kind of unusual because it seems to me that a lot of times an organ trio, the organist will do the bass parts with his foot pedals, but I guess she liked having a real bass player. So this is really cool. There's only 3 songs on here. Side A is Drag 'Em Out. 20 minutes of Drag 'Em Out. It's just a jam. Sounds really cool. Side B has 3 songs on it the second time around, which is sort of the jazz standard. I know it by Frank Sinatra. Also Out of It, and the song is Ended. So this was recorded in 1963. This is on Prestige Records. I think this may be the first real Prestige record that I have. I have a lot of original jazz classics, Prestige reissues, but yeah, this is the real thing. So I was glad to get this one, that classic Prestige label with the confetti or fireworks on it. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. I got this other record at Phonolux called Go Power by Illinois Jacquet. This also turns out to be an organ trio. Illinois Jacquet is a sax player. There's only 3 people on this record, but he's playing with an organ player and also a drummer. So this is on Cadet Records. This came out in 1960. Oh boy, I looked it up today. I think it came out in 1966. I think it was the mid-60s this came out. On Cadet Records, this was recorded live at Lenny's on the Turnpike in West Peabody, Massachusetts. So Lenny's on the Turnpike. Never heard of that venue before. But it's a very cool live album. And they do On a Clear Day, You Can See Forever on here. Then after that, Illinois Jacquet flies again. And you can hear Illinois introduces that song at the beginning. And I'd always wondered about his name. Is it Jacquet or Jacket? Or is it, like Jacquet or something like that? But he says Jacquet. So it was a good thing to learn. This is on Cadet Records, which I've learned here was formerly Argo. Formerly the Argo label. So This has a cool Cadet label on it. Cadet Records. Illinois Cat. Very enjoyable. So yeah, jazz. Just sort of a, I guess you'd call it standard jazz thing, sort of a jamming type thing. It really sounds live, and it sort of reminds me of the music. If you ever saw the movie Diner, there's one part in that movie Diner where they go to a strip joint and there is a saxophone trio playing there, and then the one guy from the movie gets up and plays piano with them. But really, it kind of reminds me of that. So that was very cool. Got this really cool record by the LA4, which is a band I'd never heard of before. This is on Concord Records. This is a record that came out in 1976, and the LA4 are Lorendo Almeida, Ray Brown, Shirley Man, and Bud Shank. So some of my favorite players on this one. This one really features Lorendo Almeida a lot playing guitar. There's some sort of almost like classical sounding stuff on here. There's some jazz, some Latin sounding stuff, and then just some more straight ahead jazz sounding stuff. Bud Shank plays both flute and saxophone on this one. Ray Brown, of course, the legendary bass player. So that one is very good. I was glad to get that one. Like I said, I'd never heard of that one before. It was interesting when I went to Phonolux. This is on black vinyl. I went to Phonolux. The past couple times I've been there, it looks like somebody was a big West Coast jazz fan, and they must have brought their whole collection in, because I've gotten all these records from there, so I'm very happy about that. I also got this record there. I thought this wouldn't be West Coast jazz. I think this would be more of this, like, I don't know, hard bop, I guess, or yeah, Herbie Man at the Village Gate. Herbie Man is a flautist, a flute player. And this was recorded in, I think this came out in the mid-60s too. So this is another one of those with only 3 songs on the whole album. 2 songs on side 1. All of side 2 is It Ain't Necessarily So. That It Ain't Necessarily So, it turns out to be largely a percussion thing. There's a long part of that towards the end where Herbie basically quits playing, and it's the percussionists who are playing. So there's he's got a pretty good sized band on here, but he's the only one really playing a musical sounding. Well, Hey Good Hardy plays vibraharp on here, vibraphone, and that sounds good. My only issue with that is when he's playing, you can hear him humming. He hums along with it, which, you know, I guess as you get used to it, it's okay. It's kind of different sounding though. Hey Good Hardy. So he plays vibraharp. Other than that, there's Ahmad Abdul Malik on bass. Ben Tucker, who wrote Coming Home Baby, the first song on side 1, joins them on bass for that song. So there's 2 bass players on that one. Other than that, there's Ray Mantilla on conga drum and percussion. Chief Bay, African drum and percussion. Rudy Collins on drums. So yeah, that last part of It Ain't Necessarily So really just features those the bass and the African rhythm section. So a lot of rhythm on this. I was looking at Discogs. This must have been a very popular record when it came out. There's a whole lot of reissues of this one. This is a mono copy. Sounds really good. It's on Atlantic Records. And cool Atlantic mono label. I got also there at Phonolux this Charlie Bird Hit Trip. Charlie Bird is a guitarist. He was known for doing a lot of Latin type guitar, but on this one he's just doing some straight. I guess this is the one that he did for the record company, to make some money. I mean, he's doing all hit songs here. It sounds really excellent. This is perfect for me. This is the kind of music I really like to listen to. I'd call it easy listening for the most part. It's, pop music. Easy listening. It's him with an orchestra, and then he's playing, guitar with the orchestra. So, really enjoyable. Charlie Bird. And Columbia 2i. yes, that's all I have to show you for this time, except for the record that we're hearing in the background, which is this record, Maria Sarabande, 40 Years of Great Film Music. So this is a label that started in 1978. They started out reissuing classical music, but they have mostly focused on soundtracks since then. This came out in 2018. And here is the list of the movies that are represented on this compilation. I think they've done, I think they do one of these every 10 years. So, very nice album. This is all nicely embossed here on the front. And comes on this cool... Maria Sarabande used to be I was reading about them online. They used to be an independent label, but now they've been taken over by Concord Jazz, and I guess it's administered by Kraft Records. So, really excellent sound on this one. So, yeah, that's it. So, that's what I've gotten here in the past, well, in the past 2 to 3 weeks, last part of March. So, this will be the main one I've really been listening to a lot. Well, I've been listening to all these. They've all been really good. But, yeah, this one was really catchy. Ross Perkins. So, that's it. Hope everybody's doing well out there. And let me know what you think about these records. And thanks very much for watching.